Hey, we're the leaf cutters, here to lend a hand for novice cigar smokers with tips so grand. Not pros, but we'll guide you right in our porch cigar lounge, light up the night. Reach out, chat along, smoke with us where you belong. So grab a cigar, come on and stay. In our back porch lounge, we'll show you the way. The leaf cutters, together we'll ignite. With tips and tricks, we'll light up your night.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Back Porch Lounge. We are the Leaf Cutters, and we are not professionals, but we are here to help. And today we have Mo from Patina Cigars in the Back Porch Lounge. How you doing today, Mo?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you, man. We got a hold of your cigars, and they are smelling good, so we're excited to have you here.
All right, man. I'm excited to be here. This is
all right.
I always tell people that if it wasn't for you guys, there is zero chance anybody would ever hear about the majority of boutique brands. You know, so these different opportunities to be on podcasts and different things is an honor, man, and a privilege. Because like I said, it helps us get the word out about what we're trying to do.
Yeah, man. And we're happy to do it. And that's one of the things that we love here on the Leaf Cutters. We do promote a lot of boutique cigars. I think that's pretty much the bulk of what we've done so far. So it's kind of surprising.
I don't know. I've smoked a Fuente.
Yeah.
You have smoked a Fuente.
Yeah, there was that.
And you got your ass reamed for it by Hector over at Espinosa. But
it was a terrible experience.
Hector
I no longer
Alfonso?
smoke Fuentes.
Yeah.
Hector Alfonso over at Espinosa.
Yeah,
It was great.
spent the night with him. Okay.
Hey!
Well,
hang on.
This is the kind of story we need to hear.
Does Hector's wife know about this?
No, got to hang out with him in Nicaragua last time I was there. Kicked it with him. It was pretty cool, man. He's a cool dude. So yeah, he's a interesting cat in a good way.
Yeah, I think he's a mean person, and no, he's wonderful.
Yeah.
I love him to death.
Yeah. Were you at La Zona Palooza?
No, we weren't.
You had him on the show.
We didn't really know about it until this year, honestly. So next year we'll probably try to give it a shot.
Yeah, man. It's actually not too far from you guys where you're at. So because they do it in Miami, I think.
Yeah, I think it's Miami. I think you're right. But today we are going to be all smoking different Patina cigars. Okay. I'm smoking the Patina Habano, Copper Habano.
Okay.
How about you, Andy?
I have a fancy Somatra.
Nice.
It's pretty.
All right. How about you, Grimm?
I have a Habano. It didn't say anything else on the label, so I don't know if it has a title or something.
Yeah, so it'll be the size of it. So bronze, copper, rustic, all of those are the names of the sizes.
Oxidation?
Oxidation will be a 6x56.
Damn, right off the bat with the math.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, you're the vocabulary. I'm the numerator.
Numerator. How about you, Robert?
I have the bronze Habano.
Okay. And Zack?
I've got the Rustic Maduro.
Awesome.
All over the board.
And normally with our show, as we light up, Robert usually has a question. So you got a question today for us, Robert?
Okay, yeah. So outside of being on the show and smoking different cigars, I have my Island 5.
Okay.
The question is, should I go any further on my regular smokes, my day-to-days?
Okay, so what are your Island 5?
They are the Roma Craft, anything Roma Craft.
Okay.
The Espinosa.
Okay.
Drew Estates, Perdomo, and Davidoff.
Okay, but you got it. So typically when you're going to do a desert lineup, you got to break it down, Robert. This is not like, I'm going to take a whole, all 750 SKUs of Davidoff with me on an island. We got to break it down. We keep things realistic around here. So I need to know not just.
All right, the Roma Craft Temperance.
Okay. Any particular Vitola in that?
No.
Okay.
Whatever's free to airdrop.
Yeah. Yeah. Just don't send it FedEx.
The Drew Estates Fat Bottom Betty.
Okay.
The Perdomo Anniversary.
Okay.
The Davidoff number 3.
Okay.
And the Espinosa Knuckle Sandwich.
Okay. All right. Now the Habano or the Maduro?
The Maduro.
Okay.
The Connecticut for me, man.
Oh, that's right. They do have a Connecticut now. That is correct.
And it's damn good. Damn good.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. Yep. They, so yeah, I mean, you can't really, now I'm interested. You picked the Fat Bottom Betty and you knew I was going to concentrate on that. So where in your rotation does that, because when I look at a rotation of cigars, what purpose does it serve, right? So for you, where does that fall into, this is why it's one of my Island 5?
I just like the way it smokes. It's smooth.
Mm-hmm.
It starts off with the flavor.
Right.
Which is probably, and I've had one other flavored cigar and not doing any other flavors again. But it starts off with the flavor and it just stays smooth consistently.
Mm-hmm. Very cool, man. Yeah, those conversations are always fun to have. You know, like if you were stuck on an island, what would you take with you?
That was actually one of Hector's questions to us that he asked us when he was on. So it got us thinking about it. But getting to your actual question, Robert, of should you stop there?
Yeah, sorry.
No, never stop. I mean, honestly, there's so many things that you're going to miss if you stop smoking new things. Now, of course, there's stuff you can have in your humidor that you like to smoke all the time. You know, there's no problem with that. But if you stop, there's so many new things coming out. Like we being introduced to Patina here. You know, we wouldn't have tried it if we stopped. So I say keep going, keep, building on your palate. I mean, you can smoke the stuff you like, of course, since you've, kind of narrowed down what you like. But try new things. Keep going with it.
So I think, okay, so if I look at how I started as a podcast. That's really how this all came to be. But part of that was smoking different stuff and learning about different stuff. But we always live by the adage, you got to burn to learn. And I think that if you've been smoking cigars long enough, you're going to go into your humidor or your tub or whatever it is that it ranges. I like tubs, right? With Bovedas in there. That's how I like to keep my cigar, just, for my personal stuff. But if you go in there, you're inevitably going to see something that you used to love and that you bought a ton of at one point, and now you no longer really care for. You're going to go through it, you're like, or the other end, man, I wish I would have bought more of those. I really got to get more of those. And you get reminded of something that you want to revisit maybe, or something like that. Like the cigar I'm smoking today is my Oro de Nicaragua. That stemmed from my time. What that name meant to me and how that cigar came to be was from going to my shop and trying a whole bunch of different stuff. Oro de Nicaragua was a cigar made by my father for my local cigar shop. That cigar opened up the world of boutique cigars for me. So you just never know, man, what cigar is gonna open the door to something else or whatever. I think you should always be trying different stuff. My opinion.
Very cool.
I agree.
I'm 100% on board with that. Anybody else got anything to contribute to that?
I was just thinking about how many times that we tried a cigar that we'd never heard of and been like, oh my God, it changed everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss out on that if you just stop. Because there are a lot of people that, they just get what they like and that's it. They're not interested in anything else. And that's fine for them. But I'm just saying you're going to miss out on a lot if you do that.
100%, man. I think I can't imagine if, look, we all start we start with, imagine if I would have stopped at Swisher Sweets or Black and Milds, when I was 19 years old, right?
Yeah.
If I would have stopped at Acids, or whatever, no matter where your cigar journey started over the years and evolved to, it's just fun to keep trying different things, I think. But yeah, you're definitely going to have your home palette, right? Or your home rotation, for sure.
But going back to that.
What's that?
My changes per payday.
Yeah, right. I can see that too.
But if I would have stopped at the Dutch Masters I started with.
Yeah, that's
I would
right.
stopped a long time ago.
Yeah, man.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Thanks for that flashback, Gibs.
You're welcome, buddy. I knew that you would you'd be right there with me on that.
I am.
But we're going to go ahead and give a first impressions on our cigars after light up. I'm enjoying this so far. It's got there's a flavor to it that I can't quite put my palate on quite yet. But then again, I'm not the guy that pulls flavors out, so but there is a distinct flavor to it, but it's pleasant.
Yeah,
it's a good flavor. I like the smoke output on it. It's not too heavy, but it's not too light either. It's right there in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, it's kind of a medium cigar.
Yes.
And considering I've never had a patina before, I don't have any pre-expectations on it, so it could be a good thing for it. But I like it. I like it so far. It lit up well. No construction issues. I'm digging it. How about you, Andy?
Well, you didn't expect it to be the best thing since sliced bread?
I mean, sometimes it can be.
I mean, no. I kind of went out of my norm. Instead of doing a straight, I went with a V. I pulled a Zack. But so far the draw's good. It's got a good earthy kind of taste to it, being the Somatra. And I'm kind of waiting for that intensity to kind of pick up a little bit, and probably about another 10 minutes or so when I get.
You got the 6x50?
No, I got the shorter one, the Robusto size.
Oh, you got the Robusto? Okay.
So I'm kind of hoping the intensity picks up a little bit to match, what my expectations are. But outside of that, like you said, Gibbs, we haven't had these. These are new to us and us new to them. So digging the colors on the band. I'm just kind of not to digress talking about the cigar itself, but the patina green and the copper and the white and the band on it is pretty hot looking too. So that being said,
the Liberty hat right there.
Yeah, the crowns.
Yeah, the crown.
Surprised I don't have somebody just looking out from one of those, but that's just me. Don't jump. It's okay.
How about you, Grimm?
Bold.
All right. So that's in the middle for Grimm. He just shook his head. Yep. See, but here's the thing with Grimm. I'll tell you this, Mo. Yeah, you're knocking it out of the park. You're not doing so well, and just you might as well just throw away the cigar. So if you just got a nod, you're in there. You're right in the middle so far.
You're such a good translator, Gibbs.
I mean, I have to translate. Otherwise, people are just like, what the fuck is that guy's problem?
They watched the podcast. They knew it was a stick. Come on.
All right, Robert, how about you, buddy?
I'm in agreement. I like the way it lit up. Burns even. Then you talk about the film in the mouth. So far, no. Turning out to be pretty good.
Good. How about you, Zach?
I like it so far. The draw on it is really good. It's open enough, but has enough restriction to kind of get it going.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I'm getting a little bit of earth, a little bit of like subtle black pepper, just barely in the retro hail. But I'm enjoying it. So far, so good.
Yeah, there's something there on the Habano. I can't quite put my finger on it. But like I said, it's pleasant. All right, so I guess we'll get down to the nitty gritty. And what actually inspired you to start making cigars?
Man, really opportunity. So, like, just being sick of the corporate world, kind of. We started. Yeah, we started. My buddy and I started a podcast in 2014 called the Sultans of Smoke. So, as you know, that was really not, an early time for a cigar-related podcast. So that kind of went into, from there, we did a cigar with James Brown, a Black Label, for the podcast in 2016. That kind of opened the door for me wanting to kind of just do this because I really thought it was awesome and all of that. You got to remember, at that time, we were still worried about the FDA stuff, so that was a little scary. But man, I still went through with it and officially launched nationwide in 2017. So it's been about almost 8 years now. So yeah, it's been fun, heartbreaking, frustrating, fulfilling. Ultimately learned to just deal with it, man. And like, that's it. Like, it is somebody. You just learn to really, excuse my language, to not give a fuck. And if you do, you are going to only hurt yourself. So you do what you do, and you do your best at it, and you hope that people want to be a part of the journey. And if they do, they do. And if they don't, God bless, you know, and that's pretty much how it goes, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
That's because you're going to beat yourself up, really, and you're the only one that's going to, you know, be hurt. So it's maintaining that positive, whether you believe it or not, it is a positive disposition, because ultimately nothing will stop you from continuing in what you believe in and believing in yourself. And I think that's crucial.
That's great.
No matter what you do. So I don't know if you guys have your own businesses or work for companies or law enforcement, teachers, whatever. You know, I think you got to believe in yourself no matter what.
Yeah, it's pretty good advice.
That's great advice.
You know,
and sticking with it. I think that's the biggest thing. Is like you're saying, stick with it.
100%, man. I think dude, if you're gonna do anything, easy come, easy go. If something takes off overnight with little effort, that's probably the worst thing that can happen to you. It's like studying for a test and you barely studied and you still got an A. That's gonna like only hurt your ability to prepare properly over the course of time, right? So the one thing about Patina has been, we have grown every year, but I never like had that huge like COVID bump or anything like that where you saw brands go crazy. I have a method of how I do things, a strategy of how I want to do things. You just stick to it. It's like a process. And that ended up being the best thing that happened to the brand, because everything is legit. You know, there's no, like, I've never had like a big hype machine or anything. If you see people that post Patina online and things like that, they're like, I don't know how to explain it. They're just cigar guys or girls, you know. It was funny because I was doing this Zoom last week, and the guy was like, if I see somebody post Patina, it's an automatic follow. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And he's like, well, that means they know their stuff, and that means they're probably pretty cool, because like literally nobody that smokes your stuff is not cool. Like, in a way that like they're a genuine person. I swear to God. I mean, and that was like the biggest compliment ever. Like, yeah, I don't want any stupid shit associated with my brand. Like you know what I mean? Like I want people to say, when I think of Patina, I think of the genuine article. And just like Patina, right? Like, you can't fake fucking Patina. It's like, it is there. It's a result of a weathering process, right? From nature. So you can't fake that stuff. I hate that shit. So anyway, sorry to get so passionate about it, but I just...
Hey,
no, that's your brand. You're supposed to be
There's
passionate.
nothing wrong with that, man.
You know,
there's really nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so,
although,
yeah.
To be fair, one of these interviews, and I like his answer, don't get me wrong. One of these interviews, I want somebody to hear Ben go, why did you start doing cigars, whatever? And they just be like, money. Like, I like money.
I don't know. Mo, do you get into cigars for money? I don't think you do.
Let me tell you, my friend, if making money is the reason you're doing this, you are in the wrong business. The amount of money you have to put up versus the amount of money you get back is, and then you got to think about all the money you have, what I call money in transition, right? Or temporarily dead money that you got to resurrect, right? So you have all of this inventory you got to carry. I'm not vertically integrated, so I buy my tobacco. My cigars are made at Noxa. So you have those added costs, right? And those guys are awesome to work with, right? Thank God. And I got good pricing compared to what other people might deal with. But it is not a fast money business, man. It just isn't, never has been, never will be, unless you come in with it with a ton of money and you just throw stuff at a wall and hopefully something sticks. But as we've seen time and again, the cigar community doesn't really seem to gravitate towards those brands either. I think there has to be, man, a legitimacy in your journey for people to be able to like relate to you, you know, or your brand. If you look at the guys who came before me that really paved the way in a lot of ways, like a Pete Johnson or Dion Giolotto or, you know, any of those guys, dude, it took years. I mean, there are still people I meet that will be like, I've never heard of Tata Wahe. I mean, think about that. Think about that.
That's crazy.
The hottest boutique brand of probably the last 5 or 6 years is undoubtedly Foundation, right?
Mm-hmm.
You understand how many people I've met that have no idea they're like, what's a Foundation?
I would have known it if it for all the social media. I would have known Foundation.
So, really what you're looking at is a painstaking effort for people to give just enough of a shit about your brand that you could actually carve out a little bit of a living. Now, the industry does a massive disservice to itself with what it portrays in terms of lifestyle. And I will stick by that for eternity, because guys like in my position, man, we're whatever. We're not killing it, or we're trying to make a living, and basically, like I said, for me, man, it was just getting out of that corporate world. I hated that shit. So
there's a saying in the cigar industry that always stuck with me, and it's like, if you ever want to make $1 million in the cigar industry, start with 2.
Yeah, I think that's in line with the other quote, that if you want to start a cigar business, take your pile of money and light it on fire.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. I mean, if you think about the I knew enough about the industry, and also I worked retail too for a year to learn that end of it. Like, you realize, well, first of all, the money's in retail. I should have just opened a shop. And secondly, there's it's just a different animal, man. And like, that's assuming that your brand. Think about, I've been doing it for almost 8 years. The number of brands that I've seen come and go, and brands that were much hotter than mine's ever been. So, I always say Patina can never be uncool, because it was never cool to begin with. So we're going to be around, baby.
Fair.
I dig it.
All right. So I got another serious question for you.
Yeah.
Why don't you like Louisiana and Georgia? This is the closest place to get a Patina cigar,
mm-hmm.
for me, is Chattanooga, Tennessee. And for Andy, it's in Arkansas.
I'm glad you looked that up, because I sure as hell didn't.
Yeah, I did. I was like, if I wanted to go grab one of these, I was like, where do I have to go? And I was like, Chattanooga is the closest place, and that's 3 hours away.
Yeah, man.
And so is there any chance Patina's coming down here or going near Louisiana?
So we are in one place in Louisiana, but it's, I believe, in Slidell, which is more closer to New Orleans.
I ain't driving to Slidell.
Yeah. So really, man, okay, and I don't know how familiar you guys are with the way, there's a couple different ways that you could really get your cigars to different markets, right? You could try to do it straight to consumer, but then shops aren't going to carry you. You got to hire in-house sales, which small brands just not going to do. Or you get part of a broker network, right? And so you have brokers that are representing your brand in different territories, and you are one of multiple brands that they may sell. We haven't had a broker on the ground really in that area for probably 6 of the 8 years of Patina. And that's just because really the options down there's just not a ton. And so, until we kind of figure out how that looks long term. But yeah, dude, I mean, like, I got to get back into Georgia and those areas. I mean, I have a rep that covers Louisiana, but he's just starting to make inroads in it. So, but yeah, in terms of Georgia, yeah, I mean, we haven't had an active broker on the ground probably since 2019, maybe 2018. Yeah.
Well, just so you know, I mean, Atlanta is a big scene for cigars,
mm-hmm.
so you could probably do very well there.
Yeah, man, we'll get back down there. It's just got to be the right time and the right person. You learn very quickly that who represents your brand is very important, because a lot of times they are the face of your brand in a given territory, because people might meet you once or twice, at a cut and light or something like that, but that person lives in that market. So they're the face of your brand, right?
Yeah, and you notice I said Atlanta. I'm not hopeful for Noonan, because Noonan's not allowed to have nice things.
So where's Noonan again?
Noonan is like 30 miles south of Atlanta, Grimm? I think it's about 30 miles.
Yeah, 30 miles to the southwest.
And it's so weird, because in our area, within a 5-mile radius of me and Grimm, there are 5 cigar shops.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, these 5 cigar shops do not carry boutique whatsoever. I mean, if they do, it's one that's pretty much crossed the boutique and gone into a more of a mainstream, but boutique they just don't do. I don't get it.
So Ben, here's the thing, man. We've been talking about this for a little while. We have seen a shift, really starting right before COVID, of a lot of retailers kind of going back to focusing on the bigger brands. And, you could say, man, there's a lot of different reasons for that. Partly, boutique brands maybe didn't do themselves a service with the way they did certain things and, all of that. But certainly also not able to give the deals that some of the bigger brands are able to give. So there's a bunch of different reasons of why that might be. I saw that you guys did a buying online versus in the humidor and kind of talked about that stuff too. But even like post-COVID, man, like you don't see the level of cigar-centric people in cigar lounges as much. Okay, and I think so. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Did the retailer stop really focusing on that type of customer, or did that type of customer really stop going to the lounge, so the lounge started just focusing more on big brands? I don't know the answer to that. I've heard arguments on both sides of it, but certainly, man, it's hard enough to get a small brand into a humidor. But the other thing too is typically for us to be really successful in a humidor, we kind of need a brand champion. And with the amount of turnover and stuff like that in lounges these days, it's really hard to keep that consistently. It used to be you would go into a shop and you'd really create a relationship with the people that work there and things like that. And they'd be there 6 months, a year later, 2 years later, but it's really not as much the case anymore. So it's just a different ball game, man. It's a different way to do things.
And you're right. I mean, and it's sad the way that, the brick and mortars are going right now. They are trying to keep their regulars in and things like that. They're not so much trying to reach out to somebody who's looking for something different than the mainstream, your Perdomos, your Fuentes, your stuff that you see in every single humidor that you go into. And there's nothing wrong with those brands. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with those lines. But, we've gotten to the point where we like the boutiques. We like to try the different ones.
Well, so it's
just harder.
It's tough, right? It's like, I got to carry on my shelf what I know is going to turn quickly or whatever. And you can't get mad at people for that. So you look at it like, all right, I got to take it upon myself to make it to where people recognize the brand as being able to be put on a shelf and people are going to buy it. That's really what it comes down to, man. Like you could say whatever you want, but really that's what it is. Nobody wants to put, it's not, a humidor is not a museum, right?
Yeah, so. You're right. You're absolutely right. And that's why we're trying to bring a lot more light to that.
Yeah.
By bringing out a little bit more of the boutique and telling you, okay, this is a good smoke. You should really, really consider looking into it, things like that. And since I've been yapping, how are we doing on our cigars? Are we about halfway?
Sure. I mean, I got 2 out here, so I got all afternoon, man.
And
do we want to do a midway review? Sure. Okay. All right. For mine, still have that distinct flavor, but I cannot put a word to it. It's really hard to say. I mean, it's not quite earthy, like Andy was saying earlier. It's not that at all.
Is it citrusy?
No, it's not even like a citrus flavor to it. It's something really distinct. But I mean, as soon as I get off this podcast, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's what it was.
Is it Christmassy?
Is it cardamom?
No, it is not Christmassy, and it's not cardamom. Shut up. It's a deep seated thing that's just crap. Okay.
Joke that started that will go away.
That will not go away, for God's sakes.
I apologize for my contribution to that joke.
No, you don't.
You did start it. I've recently gone back
Zack
and watched
did start
all,
it.
and you did start.
So much for being serious. No, I was kidding. No, it's full flavored. I do like it. It's still about a medium body cigar, and I'm not hating it for it. I don't want it to get any stronger. I like it right where it is. But so far, I am digging it. I do like it. How about you, Andy?
Smoking cigars? Yeah, that's right. That's what we're doing. I'm gonna pull a Grimm. It's good. It still continues to smoke really well. It's got a good. I saw somebody else use this word earlier, and I know what it means. I just hate using it. It's got a good mouthfeel. It just sounds gay, but okay.
No, I get it.
It's a term.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It's still got some of that earthiness to it, but it's starting to pick up a little bit in the intensity, being close to halfway. To me, it's more of a medium full, not quite. We're not getting close to full, but we're edging kind of that direction, which is fine because that's kind of what I've expected, from a good Sumatran. So, But yeah, I mean, I'm digging it. I kind of wish I'd bought 2 of these, but I wanted to try more than just one, so I got this and the Banyo to try later.
Nice. How about you, Grimm?
It smokes like a fine leather.
So, have you smoked a lot of boots here lately? I just need to know.
Ernie Boots to be exact, but it's yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Wunderbar.
How about you, Robert?
Well, thus far, I have to say, this has. Okay, I've only found. I haven't been smoking as long as them, so I don't know all the terminology and all. But there's something to this that I've only found one other place. It's a aftertaste. It's something, but I've only had it in the Roma Craft Cigars. It's a wonderful thing that I taste. I don't know what it is, but definitely a very good cigar. I really enjoy this. I'm enjoying this shit out of it, rather.
Thanks.
Yeah, definitely. And it's burning even. No problems with it. I like it.
You guys are sitting outside. All of you are outside.
All of us are outside.
Okay.
We understand that it's 17 degrees, Mo, and you don't want to sit outside. It's okay.
Yeah. No, I apologize.
How about you, Zach?
Still continuing to be good. I was listening to Mo talk and he said citrus, and I immediately picked up on like a citrus peel note that I'd never picked out of a cigar before, which I thought was kind of interesting. And that may have just been because you put the words in my brain, but it's definitely complimentary to the cigar. I'm digging that. So far so good. Enjoying it.
Mo, what are you smoking?
The Oro de Nicaragua
Mm-hmm.
in a 6.5 by 54. 6.25 by 54. I apologize. That comes in multiple sizes, but yeah, that's the size one.
So going back to that one, the Oro de Nicaragua, like you were saying earlier, you got the name from my father. Did you?
No. So just to clarify, I'm sorry, man. The shop owned the name Oro de Nicaragua. My father just made it for them. If that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So I ended up buying the name from the retailer, and that's how.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I knew you had to get it from somebody. I thought it was from my father. So
yeah, because I used to work for them, and so that cigar had special meaning. That's where after I left my corporate job, I went and worked for them for a year while patinas were being made to learn the retail end of it. So yeah, this wasn't just like, I have I'm like, loaded. I'm gonna go start a cigar, but no, dude, like this is like. This is like a labor of love and in true wanting to create something of my own. It wasn't, like I said, I make way less fucking money now than I did when I was working. Way less. But
so you sold the corporate jet, I understand.
Yeah, right. No, never that. But there's no steady paycheck. There's no, this is all, it's what it is, man. You hope to get to a point to where it all makes it worth it, but a lot of sacrifice goes into it too.
Yeah. But with that, did you try to redo the brand that was actually at your store?
Yeah.
Or did you?
No. This is all my personality.
Okay.
It was more so the name of it that really meant something to me. Like I said, man, that cigar, that was the gateway to the boutique world for me. That opened the door to Tatuaje, and you got to remember at that time, my father was still pretty boutique, right? So, but it opened the door to Tatuaje and Illusione, and then Roma Craft, and then, all of that stuff that I would consider to be things that influenced me in my journey, if that makes sense.
Are you from Chicago?
Yes.
Illusione. That sold me for it. Definitely the Chicago pronunciation.
Yeah, Illusione, I don't know. But I know that those cigars are, Epernay, ECCJ are two of my favorite cigars of all time.
Yeah.
So we were talking a little bit.
Boutique. Sorry.
Yeah, they were boutique. Not so much anymore.
Mm-mm.
You were talking earlier about, brick and mortars versus online. What do you do better in? Do you do better in brick and mortar? Because I see that you're in several brick and mortars, but you also have a lot of online presence.
So, the big online for me is really Small Batch. They're probably the biggest online. Black Line Luxuries does pretty solid, and then CDM Cigars does So those are probably my big three. I don't focus online in any way, shape, or form. I prefer to be in brick and mortar, overall. But, man, ultimately you want to think about every relationship you have in your life, whether it's personal, professional, in anything. You want to be around people that want to be around you. And those relationships have the most chance of being successful. If I got to go force people to bring in the product, or not force people, that's the wrong word. If I have to try to really convince somebody to bring it in, it's probably not going to be a very good relationship. One of us is going to feel like that balance is off, right? So, man, over the years, I really just focus on people that want to deal with me or the brand or whatever. That's who I put my energy towards. So if that's online, it's online. If it's brick and mortar, it's brick and mortar. But I try to make it as easy as possible for people to bring in the brand. There's no minimums. In fact, if anything, I would put a maximum on it, not a minimum, because I don't want somebody to order 40 boxes and then for whatever reason it just doesn't, and then they hate you and all of that. So I'd rather build slowly with people. I've gotten to the point where it's I feel that those are always the best relationships. So that's what I focus on.
So,
okay.
Speaking of boxes and what, and trying to get brand out, what is your production your mass, I don't want to say mass production, but what do your kind of numbers look like at the end of the year? How many, kind of average, how many cigars are you producing? Because I know we've talked to other boutiques, and we know that they stop making X number, they only make X number of cigars per year.
Yeah, so I can tell you that's not a problem. So listen, this is how I'll answer it. And while I do believe in full transparency, this is kind of something that, is more of, I don't necessarily want to talk exact numbers, but I will say that the factory that I have that makes my cigars is much bigger than Patina. So, when you have brands like Dunbarton and Crowned Heads and, coming out of there, or CLE or whatever, obviously. But with that said, we want to get to eventually, 500,000 cigars a year. That's kind of my near-term goal, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So staying in the boutique realm, that's great.
Yeah, no, dude, I have no desire to. I'm not trying to do all that.
You don't want to be the next Quintet. We got it.
No, man, I'd rather be able to have like I said, man, I'm not trying to get rich. I'm just don't want to go back to the corporate world. And I love this stuff. I love this stuff. I love cigars. And I love the stories people will bring and say, dude, I smoked your cigar with my dad. I smoked your cigar with my son. Smoked your cigar with my girlfriend on our fucking anniversary or something like that. Or I smoked your cigar with my husband and it was the first cigar that, I ever enjoyed. And I mean, I hear that all stuff like that. It makes it worth it. It is incredible. The feeling you just had. And in a time in the world where there's so much bullshit and so much people trying to tear us apart, cigars have an amazing way of bringing people together.
Yeah.
I mean, man.
Yeah, look at the other 4 or 5 fuckers on this podcast. That's what brought us together.
Man, it's incredible, isn't it? And if you were to tell somebody that was not involved in cigars that I'm on Sunday afternoon, I'm sitting here with a bunch of dudes I've never met before, and we're smoking cigars together, they're going to think you're fucking weird. But it's the most beautiful thing in the world, man. It's just so cool. And this is normal for our community as cigar people. So I look at it as building bridges and getting to know people that maybe I normally would never have gotten to know, and that's what makes this so awesome.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a great icebreaker. I mean, it opens up those conversations and, you get to know people. And that's why we like supporting brick and mortars because of that. When you go into a shop, sit down, you can talk to people.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Learn different things and build relationships. It's amazing.
Brick and mortars are really the first line of introduction to our industry. They're crucial. They're so important, man.
Yeah,
You
and that's
know?
why anytime, even when with you, we approach our brick and mortars first, and we're like, "Hey, do you carry this?"
Correct. Yeah.
And if they don't, then of course we go source somewhere else.
Of
Try to
course.
get whatever we need to get.
Yeah, of
But
course.
and
Or we go, hey
every
Mo,
time.
send us a bunch of cigars.
Yeah. Well, actually, we will after.
Did that work?
Yeah, no, it did actually. Yeah, we will.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Well, Ben,
Yes.
Ben must be holding out on you guys because I told him that I was going to. I just couldn't. Originally, our date was. No, I'm messing with you. I just wanted to throw you under the bus.
I missed an email somewhere. Shit.
Dude, I just wanted to make it weird for a second.
Look at those tracks, man.
no, I'm
That
kidding.
looks great.
No, but I couldn't. I was gonna send you guys, but we weren't. Our original date, we were gonna do it. There was no way, and by that time, but yeah.
That's okay.
That's cool. It worked out. It worked out anyway. Everybody got the cigar. We all wanted to smoke one for you.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't want to pull another.
I'm a little shocked you guys picked the Habano. I'm not gonna lie. That shocked me a little bit.
I like Habano.
Me too. The brand really became known because of the Connecticut.
I was that close. That close to grabbing that one.
It's so funny, man, because it's like we always talk about we like stronger cigars. People like cigars. I truly believe, and I don't think you're going to get a person to disagree with this. If you have a good Connecticut, your brand has a chance to make it.
I agree.
Because believe it or not, that's the majority of cigars. Is
That was going to be
opinion.
my next question. Yeah.
Yep. It's
So
crazy.
you say
man.
the Connecticut is?
Yeah, because you got to remember, man, we live in these like little echo chambers of guys like us that are like complete cigar nerds, right? That's who we are. We geek out over this stuff. Like we want to try everything, whatever. So, but for the majority of people that smoke cigars, let's say you only smoke cigars seasonally, you're not necessarily building this like palate over time or whatever, and even if you do, sometimes what you'll have is like what I call palate burnout, where guys will run the spectrum of strength, start smoking only really strong stuff for a while, and then it's like comes way like back to the middle again. So
I've done that.
Mine's actually swung the other way now. I'm leaning more into the Connecticut's and the Candelas. For some reason, I've been wanting to do Candelas here lately.
Yeah.
But I still smoke the dark stuff. I still smoke, Maduros, the Habanos, the Sumatrans. I'll smoke them all.
Of course.
But it just swings, and I love it because it opens it up to be like, okay, now I'm going to go try this.
Yeah, man, absolutely. That's what makes this fun. Like for me, I'm always jealous of people that are just getting into cigars. I'm like, you lucky motherfucker. But also, if you've been smoking cigars long enough, you're also very lucky because now it's like, man, you have learned to appreciate all of these different types of cigars for what they can be as a part of your rotation. So like if I look at my rotation, for example, man, I got stuff that hits a bunch of different things for me, right? And that's after years of honing in, kind of like, doing that full spectrum and back and forth, So that makes it fun too.
Dude, that's
I mean,
why
it
my
really is.
humidor looks like a bunch of different shades of tobacco. It's not, it's not all Maduros. It's not all Habanos. It's there's such a widespread, of all the things that I've smoked and continue to. That looks like it might be interesting. I'm gonna order a 5-pack of that, throw it in the humidor, and see what happens.
Yeah, man. And you start to like really, instead of like necessarily chasing a brand, you start to chase different tobaccos. Like, oh man, the blend on this cigar looks interesting. I really kind of want to try that, or factory, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, every once in a while I'll chase a brand for, I don't know, a month at a time or two.
Yeah, yep.
But after that, it's like, all right, it's time to branch back out and see what else, what
Sure.
else is interesting out there.
Yeah, man.
Big groupie. What the hell?
Yeah. You didn't know about them when they were nobody.
Yeah. You're not a fan.
Yeah, you're not real.
I only chase a brand if it's something specific I'm looking for. Like if they might have one line that I want to try.
Sure, yeah, man. Absolutely. I got to burn to learn, baby. That's it.
That's it. So going back to your podcast days, tell us about the Sultans of Smoke.
Yeah, dude, it was just we started it. So I had moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma for a few years for a job. My buddy and I wanted to keep in touch when I moved back to Illinois. And that's how we decided to do it. We're like, hey, man, there's really nobody talking about this stuff. I mean, there was a couple at that time. But it really started as a cigar review blog. And we reviewed cigars based on Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone movies. So that was our rating system. And, man, before we knew it, we were getting like cigars sent to us from like Famous, and then we were like some of the first people to ever review like Southern Draw and Fratello and, you know, House of Emilio and Black Label. And that's what introduced us to Black Label and all that, to be able to do the cigar with them. Was James had just bought Oveja Negra. He left the factory, was originally making the cigars, bought his own factory. So that kind of opened that up. So, and then we went into the podcast and all of that. And so that's just kind of how it happened.
That's awesome that you mentioned Schwarzenegger and Stallone. They've come up quite a few times on ours as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you're, you know, in terms of pop culture people involved with cigars, those are two of the first that you're probably going to think about.
Well, absolutely.
You know, and
does that bring up the pop culture question that we've been bringing up with guests so far?
Sure, why not?
Your take? What was your take? So we've asked this of
it's not about the Diddy stuff, is it?
Oh, God, no. I mean, unless you got a copy of the list.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't, you know.
No, we're just going to slide away from that one.
Okay, I just wanted to get ahead of it in case it was coming.
Dude, you have to cut that out. That way we don't end up on a list, Gibs.
Yeah, that's a slippery one.
That's a slippery one.
Yeah, it is.
So, being pop culture geeks that we are, especially on this particular podcast, we've had a couple of reviews, or one person hated it and one person hadn't seen it. What's your take on the Deadpool Wolverine flick?
I have not seen it. No, I have watched Deadpool 1 and 2, but I've not seen the Deadpool Wolverine.
Starting to feel like Terrence is kind of a nerd. You know, since he's the only one that's seen it at this point. Like, hi, Terrence.
No, Hector saw it. Hector saw it.
Yeah.
Hector saw it, and he ripped Terrence for saying what he said about it.
Well, what did he say about it? Did he like it or not like it? I mean,
Okay,
what's your guys' take? I haven't seen it. Is it worth watching? I guess I'm flipping this question on you.
Absolutely, it was a great movie to see. It does have a lot of fourth wall breaks, and it has a lot of mentions into pop culture.
Okay,
so just keep that in mind. They do it a lot in that film, a little bit more than they did it in 1 or 2.
Yeah,
but Terrence's standpoint on it was that it was really just a fanfare movie. It was just a movie for the fans. It didn't really have
Disney
anything.
Money grab.
Yeah, he pretty much said it was a Disney money grab.
Okay.
And then Hector rebutted with, you know, put on your big boy panties and, you know, just suck it up because it was a great film.
Okay, yeah, enjoy it for what it is. Yeah, I get that.
Well, we have another guest. Lagatha's joined the podcast.
Oh, yeah, Lagatha's joined.
Did you get your dog a cigar too?
She does not smoke cigars.
Really?
She hangs with me for a cigar lots of times, but
more of the vape.
Yeah.
More than that.
No, she does the chewing tobacco.
Okay, yeah, Skull or Copenhagen Grizzly.
Yeah. Like a real dog.
Yeah,
actually, you know what it is? It's actually a twofer. It's just so he can get his lap warm. That's why he's like, yeah.
Well, she was pawing at me, and I'm petting her, and she curled up in this little tiny ball, and I guess she's a little chilly. So.
Yeah, that's good.
So Mo, since you just showed that you do dip.
I do, unfortunately.
Do you dip and smoke cigar at the same time?
No, man, that's ignorant. You can't do that.
Thank God.
That's pure ignorance. You either, you have to give each one of them their proper place.
Yeah, because I've seen these guys that, they'll have the pouches and stuff, and they'll sit there on that and then smoke a cigar, and I'm like, what are you trying to do to yourself?
That's insane.
You just hate yourself. You hate life.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. You hate life. That's why you're doing that shit to yourself.
Yeah, no.
How much nicotine do you actually need?
Right, yeah.
Oh, right.
You're not getting enough from the cigars. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, smoke a bigger cigar. Do that instead.
Mo, what's your go-to cigar? What's your daily driver?
I mean, it really... So, For me, it's more of what do I have inventory of that I could just take for myself. So that, you know, sometimes it's the Habano, sometimes it's the Connecticut, sometimes it's the Maduro, sometimes, you know, just, you know, or the Nicaragua. I mean, it doesn't, you know, that kind of is the determining factor for what I smoke more so. Because to me, I guess like, but I try to keep a little bit of everything. But overall, lately, it's been the Oro de Nicaragua.
Yeah, that was another one I was thinking about grabbing, but I just didn't. I grabbed this one. I don't know what it was.
My choice was made for me, but it was an excellent choice.
I don't know how the hell you keep such a straight face, man. That is... yeah.
Years of practice, I've been very deadpan for a very long time.
Yeah, that's good, man. It's
dead on the inside. Love you, Grimm.
Yeah, I know. We'll talk about this during the Christmas get together.
Yeah.
Remember all those times you made fun of me? It's not fun anymore, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Grimm, get help before it's too late, man. You know.
I do.
He's like, this is my help right here. I'm smoking it.
Yeah.
This is therapy right here.
Absolutely.
Why pay thousands of dollars to a person when I can smoke thousands of dollars of cigars?
Yeah,
exactly.
That's right.
This podcast is just one long intervention for Grimm. That's all it is.
Dude, I think that you guys help each other's psyche more than you realize. Guaranteed.
I'll second that. Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm like just weirded out or just you're just stroking the dog and like, this is my pretty.
The dog is definitely taking over at this point.
Yeah, it is.
She is trying to take over the camera.
And she's digging it, man. She's just like, yes, I'm on camera.
Yeah.
I'm amazing. Look at me.
She's giving the profile and everything, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at me, I'm beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
That sick fucking 80s rocker look. I love it.
Yeah. Definitely a Michael Crew vibe
really
going on.
Yeah. Oh, Poison.
Yeah, definitely Poison. She's a little pretty, so it's got to be Poison.
She sniffs us to say they're talking about.
Like, those sons of bitches.
It's like it's like an eclipse of Zack, though.
It's really sweet.
You were part of Mombacha Cigars, right? For a while there?
Man. Yeah, when he started. Cigars were originally made there. I was a national sales manager for Mombacho when I launched Patina. So I was selling both brands. I switched factories in 2019 over to Noxa. But yeah, obviously Mombacho is no longer around.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, they had a really cool setup in Granada, Nicaragua, where they basically converted an old mansion into a cigar factory. It was really, really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, man, it was fun, but it just went a different direction. You gotta do what makes the most sense for you.
Absolutely. Because, like you were saying, in the cigar world, it's hard to make a living doing it. So, unless you're highly successful and getting your stuff out there, constantly hustling, it's not going to make it.
I mean, dude, there are days where I literally think to myself, how do we even sell a single cigar? Like, when you think about just walking into a humidor. Like, it's incredible. Like, when you even just think about, like, where I started, where it is now, and I still think to myself, like, I don't even know how we sell one. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
With all the money that is put in from other places, all the competition, all the constant releases, and you find a way to carve out this piece for yourself that continues to grow is pretty cool. So, but it's never ending, man. For sure.
And how about all the hate that you get, from social media? And I'm not talking about people, because the cigar community, they are always propping each other up, no matter who it is.
Yeah.
Because even the podcast people, we don't fight between each other. We help each other out, no matter what. We help each other out.
Right.
But social media itself just hates anything tobacco.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to push yourself out there, get your name out there, even have your nice pictures of your cigars out there, because they shut them down.
Real quick, was that a Mustang that just drove by somebody?
No, it's somebody with a small penis.
Oh, okay. Or is that like a muffler delete? Because, Mustangs have that very distinct... Anyway, so, unless it's a V6, no offense. But
Robert.
The interesting thing, they make it, especially now, more than any time I could remember. Like, I don't even, like, Patina doesn't even get all the times it's tagged or mentioned, because I love to give recognition to the people that take time to post a cigar, right? Like, or have spent their money on the cigar. Like, I want to recognize them. I have literally sent, I think I'm up to 5 now, notices or like reports to Instagram saying I'm not being notified of people tagging the brand or whatever. Nothing. And it's like really frustrating because, especially as a smaller brand, my way of building it is by connection with people. Mm-hmm. There's only so much the retailer could do. There's only so much the brokers could do. A lot of it is stuff like this where we get to like actually talk and BS and all that. So it's really frustrating, man. I mean, and I'm not going to go spend 40, 50 grand on something in Cigar Aficionado. I'm just not doing that. So yeah, they make it they already make something difficult even harder, unfortunately.
Yeah. And we're seeing that just as much as you guys are. Mm-hmm. You know, they we're not in the algorithms. They take us out. Only people that are subscribed to us can see us. Mm-hmm. It's tough, but again, it's amazing to see the cigar community, how much they get behind you. Yeah. and push you up there. It's pretty wild is what it is.
Yeah, man. And we have to, because all we have is each other. That's it.
That brings up an interesting question. Now that you mentioned it, and I think it's the first time anybody's mentioned Aficionado, the magazine. Mm-hmm. And there's not a ton of cigar magazines out there.
Right.
I can think of 2 off the top of my head. It's that one and Cigar Snob.
Yep.
Which one do you prefer?
Man, I'd be lying if I answered that. I don't think I've ever. That's just not. I don't pay. I can't for my own well-being pay attention.
No,
to
that's cool.
Stuff. Yeah, you know what I mean. Just I don't really pay attention to that stuff. I know it sounds crazy.
I don't know that I've picked up an issue of either, unless I'm at a B&M and it just happens to be there because I'm not talking to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, these days, I'll jump on Half Wheel or Cigar Coop or, developing palettes or something like that just to see, or Dojo, just to see kind of what's going on. But I don't, in terms of the magazines, I don't really.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wasn't.
Yeah, but in a while.
Yeah, I mean.
I don't know why they put so much stock. Well, I know why they put so much stock into Cigar Aficionado, because that's supposedly the end-all be-all of it, right? But like you were saying, like Half Wheel, to me, is a much better source of finding out information about cigars.
But here's the thing, Ben, is I'll give you the greatest example of this, because when I was working retail, it was 2017, and Andalusian Bull, we got it in. Nobody wanted it. I'm not paying $17 for an LFD. Give me my $8, DL700, whatever. At that time, $9, whatever. That Cigar Aficionado came out number 1. All of a sudden, everybody wanted that cigar. And at that time, the Luzioni Hot 10 won number 1 cigar of the year at Half Wheel. We're like, well, we don't have the number 1 from Aficionado. We got the number 1 cigar from Half Wheel. Now, mind you, this is a long time ago, and Half Wheel's much better known now. But, like, what's Half Wheel? So, unless you're really, really into cigars, you're really not even going to know what Half Wheel is. But from every level of cigar consumer, everybody knows Aficionado. I'd say that's the difference.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. I mean, they're the end-all, be-all, because they were kind of the ones that started doing, featurettes on cigars and, bringing in the celebrities and, showing all this stuff to people. And it was a widely spread way of getting the information out.
Yes.
Before internet, and before, people started doing reviews and stuff online.
For sure. And I've kind of, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but as I've gotten, I don't know, man, like I think the whole celebrity culture, all of that, I'm just over that stuff at this point in my life. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know what's changed, but I don't need any of that. Like, I'd rather just go to Half Wheel and read about something. Like, I don't care what celebrity smokes what cigar, and I'm not trying to be a jagoff or like, I just don't care. Like, the level of celebrity worship and athlete worship, like in our, like, to me is disgusting. Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? But I do want to know what Ben's smoking. I do want to know what Robert's smoking. I want to know what Andy's smoking. I want to know what Zack's smoking. I want to know what Grimm's smoking. I don't care
Grimm,
what...
you matter.
Yeah.
You matter, Grimm.
Yeah. Grimm's at the monastery right now. But he's about to...
It's cold.
Yeah. Dude, it's 60 degrees by you, isn't it?
No, that's me.
Well, that's Andy.
Yeah, it's Andy. He's still in shorts, probably.
Oh,
No, he's in jeans, and I got a long sleeve T-shirt, man. It's freezing.
Okay.
yeah, but I just, it's like, I don't, whatever.
Well, we've had that same conversation about, celebrities, and
Mhm.
my take on it is the celebrities that actually get into their cigar and actually, from beginning to promoting it to keep promoting it.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I do respect.
Sure.
Like, best example, just because we've had him on recently, was
Guy Fieri.
Victor was talking about Guy
Okay.
Fieri.
Sure. Yeah.
He was there from the beginning. He went in, he made sure he got the blend that he wanted. He made sure that, he signed off on things, and then he promoted it. And he continues to promote it.
Yeah, no, I get that.
If they can get behind their cigar and they have a good tasting cigar, I got you. Somebody who slaps their name on it, I'm not even interested.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. Why are we making excuses for people that are already have made it in something? Why do we consider their efforts to be greater than someone like Mike Rosales, who you had on recently, or me, or Nick Melillo, or Steve Saka, why do we, as a culture and a society, place these emphases on these people? Like, and that's not to knock Guy Fieri or anything like that. Like, I love diners and all that stuff. Like, that has nothing to do with this.
He's an exception, though. He's an exception just because he's a chef.
Right.
So he does have a flavor palate. He does have a taste for palate, and he also smoked cigars for a while. That's the only reason I can respect that a little bit more. But I get what you're saying.
100%. I'm not even actually talking about cigars, but I'm talking about in general. Why have we gotten to this point where, like, we need to look at other people? Like, for me, a recommendation from you guys is going to carry way more weight than anything some celebrities going to.
Good point. Great point.
You know what I'm saying? Like, period.
I mean, unless I run into Ed Harris at the cigar shop, and ask him, hey, buddy, what are you smoking? And have a sit down and conversation with him. I don't care what he's smoking. I think some of that is familiar. I don't know. It's I want to say familiarity. We're used to seeing these people's faces.
Yeah, I understand that.
And we see them in our homes per se. All the time, where we don't see the people we meet at the cigar shop all the time. Right. But
yeah, no, I get that.
Their opinions don't make a whole hill of beans worth of difference.
Right.
Most of the time.
100. I guess what I'm trying to say is nobody needs to look up to anybody. You're just as important. I'm just as important, and everybody else is just as important. You know what I mean? And that's it. I guess that's kind of my whole point in everything, is that we need to stop putting people on pedestals and shit like that. You know what I mean? That's all.
Yeah, the celebrity endorsement thing always feels a little bit forced and fake. Kind of like what you were saying. It's fake patina.
Yeah.
It's not real.
Yep.
It's painted on.
Yeah.
It's painted on.
Natalie, I know about that. I worked at an arts and crafts stores in high school.
There you go.
Yeah.
When you started talking about patina being natural, and when you let copper and just kind of sit out and do its thing, you get that patina. Or you can go to Michael's and you can buy a jar of it and paint it on whatever the hell you want to paint on.
100%. There you go. Yep.
Baked patina. All right. So this is burning my fingers, so I think I'm going to have to rate it. Everybody else about ready to rate theirs?
No, I want to light up the other one.
You guys got
cigar
cigar daggers, huh? You guys got the picks?
Andy, yeah, we have the pick. Andy actually has a cigar dagger cigar.
I do.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
No kidding. Yeah, he makes some cool stuff.
He makes some
He
cool
really
stuff.
does.
I got this during COVID because I thought it was perfect because it's a plague doctor.
Oh, is that right?
Yep. It's a plague Dr. Mass, those long peaked ones. All right. So mine, great smoke all the way through. Stayed medium the whole time. I was actually expecting to get a little bit stronger toward the end. It didn't. It actually stayed medium, and I like that. No film on my mouth, which everybody knows with me. If you got film on my mouth, it takes me out of the cigar.
What is that? I'm sorry, what does that mean?
So some cigars, they're so heavy that they will leave a remnants in my mouth, and that's all I'm tasting, that remnants.
Interesting. You call it,
And
okay.
it coats the entirety of my mouth, and I just like,
Yeah,
I can't even taste the cigar anymore. That's all I'm tasting.
I get that.
So didn't get any of that, so that's great. Construction on it was good. I did touch it up one time, but I think that was more me not turning it like I usually do. So for my rating, I'm probably going to give, when we do out of 5 leaves, I'm going to give this one a 4.5. Really enjoyed it. If I can get them locally, I would smoke that sucker again, and I would probably have one in my humidor if I could get them. So I would definitely like to put that one in rotation. I did like it. So how about you, Andy? That good. Awesome.
Yeah, good. I've enjoyed the cigar. It's got a good feel. It's got a good draw. It's smoked really well. I'm with you, Gibbs. I'd touch mine up once or twice, but that's more, when in this particular where I sit, that has a lot more to do with the breeze and how it blows through here. But it's great construction, smoked really well. It did pick up a little bit intensity at the halfway and ended up being a little more full than medium. But I enjoyed the hell of it. Yeah, I'd definitely buy some if I saw them when I go to the shop. But I'll probably buy some online because, well, I do a shop there too. Because, I don't like driving 45 minutes to go to a decent cigar shop all the time. But out of 5, I'm going to go with Gibbs. I'm giving 4.5 and see if I can get some more to throw in the old box.
Thank you, bro.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
How about you, Grimm?
It was an interesting date. We lounged around a lot. We seemed to have a nice conversation going, and then it ended, and it was a little rough for me. I want to call and find out if she likes me, but if I call too soon, it's desperation. If I call too late, she's already got somebody else. I don't. So I'm trying to find that callback time right now, and I'll let you know if I get there. But I mean, she was banging. She was banging. I'll give it a 4.5 like everybody else, and hope she calls me before I go crazy.
I think you have to wait 12 hours, Gibbs, or Grimm, before you call her.
Yeah, you go wait 12 hours.
It's too long. It's too long.
That's hopefully what she says too.
I need to go now! Yay! Wait, that is a good positive joke for me. Yay!
Yeah.
Shit. Robert, how about you, buddy?
Okay, Mo. Well, the Patina Bronze Habano has officially taken Perdomo off my list.
Oh, nice.
It is definitely one I will drive the 109 miles to the shop in Chattanooga to get.
Is that Burns? I gotta ask real quick. Is that Burns? Gibbs?
No.
You looked it up. Was it Burns? No. Even Mo knows it's not Burns. Okay.
I will definitely get one of these.
Thank you.
I enjoyed the hell out of that. 5.0, man.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
You're on mute, Gibbs, but I think you said it was my turn.
That went, how about you, Zach?
Yeah. It's burned good. Smoke output's been perfect. I'd call it kind of medium to medium full. It started off a little more on the mild side, but intensified a little bit as you go, as cigars tend to do. I didn't pick up any additional flavor notes, but it's been really balanced and easy, not overpowering. I feel like this is a cigar that a newer smoker could approach without getting his ass kicked, which is good. I kind of look for cigars like that. I've swung towards really heavy cigars and then away and kind of back in the middle somewhere. So it's hitting the right notes for me. I'm gonna give it a 4.75, and I'm really looking forward to trying the rest of your line. This is really good.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, same here. I'm excited about trying different ones and then just the Habano.
So
I should have picked up a couple of different ones.
I will tell you that the brand itself is about balance in the ability. When we talk about Cuban cigars, for example, why do people typically same thing. Why do people typically why do Connecticut's sell better than? It's that ability to be able to smoke a cigar back to back, like where you're, like you said, that film is not on. So you want to find that balance between having flavor, but not to the point where you're burning people's palates. And I think across the line, that's the goal with every blend. So that's kind of the area where I like to play in, because that's what I enjoy. So
I think you hit that.
Yeah,
I think you hit that as well. So Mo, at this time, I want you to take the floor, man. Tell us what you got going on. Tell us anything that you have coming out. Tell us to go fuck off. Whichever one,
definitely not the last one, man. Maybe if we were, so
Grimm gave it a 2. Fuck him.
Yeah, yeah. So we just dropped the LE 2024. That was Connecticut broadleaf over Mexico with U.S. and Nicaragua in the filler.
Tasty.
We have a new core line coming out next year. That's going to be a box press Maduro, which will be the strongest cigar that we've put out, because even though, I was talking about leaving balance and all of that, and this is still a very balanced cigar, we also understand that, and I guess when I say we, that's the me. There's actually no
royal we.
Yeah, I just wanted to make myself sound cooler than I really am. So
I appreciate it.
So I wanted something, because when I looked at what segments of the market are we maybe missing, and it's that guy that really, or that lady that really likes that heavier type of cigar. So I did it the Patina way, so which means to me that it's still approachable. It's not going to burn your palate or whatever. But we use 2 Ligeros and we use an Oscuro Mexico over it, and so it's going to be. It's a heavier cigar. So that was the goal with that one. So that'll be out next year. And yeah, man, that's just kind of what it is. And I don't believe in, I think the market needs to tell you what you should do with your brand. If you try to dictate to the market what you want it to do, you're probably going to have a harder time. So that was the feedback I was getting from doing events, from retailers and stuff. Hey man, we need something. So the Oro de Nicaragua was kind of the first step in hitting some of the heavier stuff. So the Oro de Nicaragua will be the heaviest currently, which is not super heavy. It's still, and then the next line will be a little bit heavier than that. And then we'll see where we're at after that. But I don't believe in flooding the market with stuff and just cannibalizing my own SKUs and stuff like that. I want people to actually want new shit from Patina, not just here's some new shit again,
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough, man.
So yeah, that's kind of the next 6-7 months or so.
It's awesome, man. Well, I definitely want to say thank you for coming on. It's definitely been a learning experience for us, especially with a new cigar. I had heard your name before, and of course, on the socials, I've seen pictures of stuff, but I've never had the opportunity, to actually have one. So this was a great opportunity to do so, and I'm glad we did.
No, man, I appreciate it. Like I said, without you guys and the people that do what you do, because that's how I got my start, nobody would even know about brands like Patina, So thank you very much for having me.
We definitely hope we can get you a little bump and get some more sales for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you guys.
Yeah, you at least got 6 more cigars from us. That's it.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. That's 6 more. Hey, listen, we just opened up Europe, right? And, and we had very honest conversations about expectations and stuff like that. And I said to him, look, man, if you sell 10 cigars, that's 10 more than I sold last year in Europe.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let's be honest here. So, I think the biggest thing, man, is you just got to be real with yourself and be honest with yourself and let your expectations match where you are, right? So no, thank you guys very much.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, since you brought up Europe. Are you having any problems with the name Patina over in Europe? Something else has that name, you can't get out there?
No, the only
I'm guessing not, since you got actually in the market.
No, the only one is Habano. They can't carry my Habano, I think, in 1 or 2 of the countries because of the Cuban stuff. Because for purposes of the U.S., I left the names very generic. So because I didn't want people suing me for some stupid shit. And
Good reason.
It's yeah, exactly. Oh, that's my name, or you took that name, or whatever. But in Europe, it kind of, but like in the Middle East, there hasn't been any either. No, so far we're good on that.
Cool. Congratulations.
Good.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap us up for today. And I'm just going to leave off with good night.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Man. Thanks.
Thank you.